My family's from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Both of my grandfathers were coal miners, in fact, 3 generations. My father would have been the 4th, but instead moved our family to a small town in Ohio. He worked 2 manual labor jobs, sometimes working until midnight. He did this for years. This is where I get my work ethic. I'm first generation college, putting myself through undergraduate and then graduate school. By the time I was in my early 30s, I was vice president of an integrated equipment and software company. The internet back in the late 1990s was still relatively nascent. 1 out of 2 households didn't have a home computer, 75% of homes didn't have internet access, and the majority of Americans didn't own a cell phone. And in fact, if you had one, it was a flip phone. Despite this, I was convinced the internet was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As I was leaving for lunch one day, the company owner asked me, how do we make money from the internet? I recognized as a provider of capital equipment, we could add some programs on the internet, but they were ancillary at best. But then I thought, how could we lose money on the internet? Economic order quantities, or EOQs, could be assembled online with buyers. It could hurt our sales as our customers wouldn't need as many production lines to meet demand. So we would file a patent for defensive purposes, and that would be it. So I paid the check, I was ready to leave, when a thought came into my mind. What if we didn't have a revenue stream at all to protect? And you could build a model from the technology out. And then immediately the ideas came flooding. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I ran out of paper and started writing them on the back of cocktail napkins. I took a 2-month sabbatical from work to build out the basic foundation. I extrapolated Moore's Law and Metcalfe's Law, assumed advances in fiber optics and cybersecurity, and other core elements, and then began inventing. These EOQs would have underlying supply chain efficiencies tied to them, which would result in higher capacity utilization rates and a higher return on assets. Based on your overall business and marketing strategy, you could share with buyers through dynamic pricing models. That in turn would support predictive analytics, and you could get so granular that you could then create individual customer pricing algorithms that support your customer segmentation strategies. Since it's a closed-loop system, it would enable machine learning and price recommender systems. The advent of geofencing would allow for location-based discounts. You could apply this now to products, available inventory, even services. So I started my first company in 1999. I worked during the days developing the software and running the company, and then evenings were spent working on the patents. I finished with 45 patents across 10 patent families, each standalone, but also could be combined for systemic value. We moved the company to Florida in 2007, and then spun out and acquired other companies, winning awards for our technology and innovation, and being recognized for having some of the fastest growing private companies in America. One of our companies, Triadex, combines our team of data scientists with proprietary data analytics and AI machine learning to enable national multi-unit brands to scale their growth through hyper-local targeting.
When anybody meets Greg, I think they recognize that he's a special person. He has this natural ability to innovate, but that's combined with a natural desire to help people.
I didn't know it at the time, leaving the restaurant, that I would spend the next 25 years of my life either inventing, innovating, or growing companies, still answering the same question of working out from the technology to add value. So yes, in my case, a single question did in fact change my life. I think a far more interesting question is, can it change yours?